Welcome to another World of Tanks Debriefings here. This one brought to us by Tiger_1. I'm going to assume that's a 1, not an I or an L. But, yeah, anyway. So, he's running a GWPanther, so he's going to be running artillery. It's going to be an interesting dynamic here with this debriefing series with artillery. But I'll give it a shot, see what he does target-wise, see what he does in terms of his movement and placement and everything else. And he's teamed up with 2 tier 9s, which is perfect for that sort of grouping. You kind of want, well, you can get away with a 7 teamed up with a 9 sometimes. I've done it plenty of times, it works out. He is doing it with a 6, so it's actually the top of his tier as to what he should see naturally. No, 6, even a 5 has the potential to see 10s, but anyway, it's a pretty good matchup team-wise. So he's supporting 2 heavy tanks. One of those is kind of a medium-ish heavy tank. So it's a pretty good matchup team-wise. It looks like the other team has quite a few 9s as well. Nothing really stands out as super, this is the one primary target you gotta kill. IS-4 and T-110 is scary. The E-100's definitely, the JP E-100 is scary, but those things are easily overcome. All in all, pretty much everything's a valid target. I'd say go for it if you can. So, minus the little hetzer at the bottom. Don't you hate it when people bring those? So let's go ahead and get into the game here and see what he does. So, right off the bat, he's going to have to go find himself some cover or places to go. Being an artillery piece on encounter here in Elhuluf. Is this Elhuluf? Yes. He's going to have to pick and choose some spots pretty cautiously. There's 2 options. You can either worry about taking stuff out, defending the ridge here, or you can worry about trying to take stuff out in the cap. Now, he's actually on the side I do not prefer at all. I do not like the switchback side for encounter. For standard battle, I do, but for the encounter, I prefer to be in the artillery. That way I can sit over in here, over in the E0 area, and bombard right onto the cap. Makes it much easier for hitting and resetting. But he went all the way down to the, what is this, K4-5 line. So it's not a bad placement, and he's getting set up to spot some stuff. So it's going to work out pretty well if anything is over on this ridge. But a lot of things I find will usually sit around in here, the AB6-7 area, and if not, then they'll go up to the grinder here at AB2-3. So his choice of areas to look out for is a good advanced area. If you see anything coming down here, you know it's a medium or a light that's going to be trying to take out the artillery on a weak flank. So right now, just the little hetzer's cruising in there, nothing really too major to worry about. That IS-4 is definitely the primary target. I wouldn't waste the shots against the little hetzer. That might be like a, hey, we need to reset sort of thing. Plenty of good lead. He guessed that one just right. He is not moving, though, after firing. And that's something I had to instill in myself, was to always move after firing. So that way I don't get counter-batteried at all. So, hopefully he does that on the next shot. Sometimes you can get away with a singular shot or 2. I don't know if I'd go after that hetzer. Yep, he does move. And he does actually spike the hetzer right off the bat. So, perfect placement, perfect timing. Not too bad there. He did hit that IS-4 for a pretty good chunk. If it was me, I'd still be over there looking to see if I could potentially hit him. And I would actually go back down the hill a bit. I'm a little, oh nice. They're able to finish off that IS-4 before he even reloads. And that E75 is worth a shot, but yeah, with the T-34 out here in the open and a guaranteed hit if you time it right, you'd much rather go after him. Another great placement, and lands right on top of him. So, he's getting pretty good at leading, and he definitely took the right choice there. He could have went after the E75 there, but it's not a guaranteed hit, whereas this 4502P is, and that 34 back there definitely was a guaranteed hit. Now, I might actually choose to go with the E5 there, but with the chance of, or with the P being stuck, I definitely would have hit him as well. Finish off the weaker targets first, then start focusing down the heavier stuff. And then, of course, after that, it's go after whatever's visible. So, I'd start to worry about this E5. While you don't have a guaranteed hit, at least some range, or some hit down there is going to help. So, lands a little over top, but we almost guaranteed that was going to happen. With the, kind of that little red dot there, that's where the shell's aimed at, as opposed to the circle. The circle is just a probability of hit within there. The shell aiming point is that singular point, though. So it's a measure of where you think they're going to be and everything in between. So there you go. He's getting very good at timing these out as to where he is going to place his shells. One thing he's not doing, though, is calling out his targets. With another artillery piece, the GW Tiger, he really should be calling out his targets, because you don't want to shoot the same thing the GW Tiger's shooting at. If the one of you is guaranteed to kill the target, you don't want to waste your rounds like that and be stuck. I know the GW Tiger has a 30-second or more reload, whereas this Panther's a little less, probably around 25 second to 20 second. Well, more along the 25 second. So, with stuff here, I'd actually just go for a shot just to see where it hits. There's no guarantee of anything, and he does shoot long. I believe that Tiger actually hit that 4502 in the back there with that 600 hit. So if the Panther did hit, the two of them combined probably would have killed it. But he should really call out the targets. That's one thing you really got to do. And I know now it's moved to F2, so every time I'm going to focus on a target, and even if I'm the only artillery piece, I will still always call it so that my teammates know either A, get away from that target, or B, light them up as quick as you can, because death is coming in at him, and we want to be able to take him out, as opposed to him just getting hit for 300-400 and then that's it. Not a big deal. So, two things I noticed is he does move. That's perfectly fine, but I would definitely be calling out my targets. As you can see there, he is moving. He was able to sneak that shot in perfectly right down on top of him, finishing off that guy. Really opens it up a bit. He cannot see. Oh, there's the T-30. Wasn't able to originally see him, but should be able to hit him. There's the Jagdpanzer E100, so he's now a primary target. I'd go after him first, even though that the T-30's already hit. Little bits of damage here and there is going to make a big deal or difference against something with that many hit points. It really comes down to when your artillery is target priority. You really got to see what's the threat, what's available, and what you can guarantee yourself to hit and do damage to. Like this E100 still has a chance to pin, still has a chance to do damage. I'd blind fire it like he did. We'll see in a minute. And no shot impact, so that means it probably did hit him. So that's one thing you really got to do, is pick and choose your targets. Really learn to lead. Leading makes all the difference in the world. If you can estimate the distance they're traveling, yeah, as you can see there, he hit him pretty good, actually. If you can estimate the distance traveling versus where they're going to be and the travel time of your shell, like that, getting very close there but not exactly killing them, you can actually do quite a bit of a effect in the game if you know how to properly aim and locate your shots. Again, one thing he's missing quite clearly is calling out his target. Hitting the F2 button really would make a difference so his team knows what to look out for, what he's focused on, and also because that way it allows your teammates to, if they're paying attention to the chat, know that, hey, I better not move up at the moment because my artillery is not looking here, he's looking elsewhere. And that's one major difference there, that right there, the Tiger could have called his shot so that the GWPanther wouldn't have wasted his shot there, because they didn't know that they were both going at each other at the same target like that. Now, stuff like that does make a huge impact because both are now stuck reloading, and it's something just courteous to all the other people is that you call your targets. Always call your targets. It's something that I got drilled into my head, and I almost had to learn to do just every single time, is hit that F2 button right before I'm going to fire, so that way everyone knows not to shoot, or they have to take the risk if they're going to shoot. Not only that, again, it helps tell your teammates where you're looking, as opposed to them thinking, oh, artillery might be over here, but then I get killed, so I'm going to go blame artillery that they weren't helping me. But in fact, you're a little busy looking elsewhere, supporting a different flank, and they have no way of knowing that. There's no coverage on the map as to what the artillery is aiming at. This should be a great shot if he hits it, and the JT remains still. Beautiful, right through 1200. Huge damage there. So he's up to 4,000 now scene damage. That JP took a huge hit, but JP needs to be a little careful, or JT rather, not JP. Needs to be a wee bit careful. But again, he is really putting his shots in places that are going to make a big difference, making sure that that grinder is clear. This T-34 is just an available shot, not a guarantee shot, and he did actually scoot it through there. I've had plenty of good shots just like what he had, where he was able to cruise it right through rocks. I've done that before in my GW Tiger, where it's just a very small chance of me getting the shot through the rocks, and I still managed to do it and kill off a target. It's always great when that happens. But a few lucky shots here. He's doing quite well, cleaning some stuff up, but they really need to start pressing here. It looks like their time is ticking down. I don't have the time available for in-game here, so I don't know the time left. Sadly, it's not going to be much help. If he can sneak this shot through, though, which it doesn't look like it's a possibility, finishing off that E75 would be pretty important. But the M12 does finish off the IS-7 instead, which, that's going to hurt them. That was, well, then again, with 20 hit points, not a whole heck of a lot you can do. Blind fire there, hoping for the best, and he does actually, well, it's not a blind fire per se, but it was a guess shot, and he did land that one. The artillery is really making up this battle. They're doing fantastic. Both sides actually are doing pretty well. Just with 7 on this side and 4 on the other, really making a big bit of damage between nailing that, what was that thing? The JP E100 and then also the JT. Huge chunks of hit points gone on both of those tanks. So one hit from artillery should kill either of those tanks if they're available. Ooh, so that low's actually going to back out right in time, and the shot landed actually short. So, not a big loss there. I don't know what rounds he's loading, if he's loading the high explosive versus the other high explosive. So one's the premium high explosive, which has a higher detonation radius, and the other one is a standard round with its standard detonation radius. So he might have to switch to the gold rounds here in a minute. He's almost out of ammunition, which is not going to go so well. With somebody on the cap, though, if that guy's able to hide, it won't be bad at all. And then again, a quick hit and kill on the low would be great. And there we go, perfect, hit him. Was able to finish him off. Both the artillery pieces here can now focus on countering the what do you want to call them, anti-tank guns that are going to come up against the guys on cap. They really need to be watching themselves a little better, though, because that guy that's on cap really should be behind the rock, and then he probably can't be touched except the artillery, maybe getting a lucky splash. And both those artillery have to be running low on ammunition sometime here. Alright, so the JT-88's cruising out here. That's not a blind shot per se, but another guess shot, just hoping for the best while he relocates and reloads. He did pump in the octane fuel there so that he can relocate as needed quicker. Ooh, so sadly the JP-100 is able to finish off the guy on cap without much resistance. It's going to be a guess shot there to hit the what was that, the T-30. Not a lot there. And of course he's now into the gold rounds, so he doesn't really have much chance. He's not much rounds. You're going to need to have some people start spotting at this point and or being aggressive. That M103 should push. That's the sad part. And there is, ooh, all those tanks could push. Some of them are much slower than others, but that M103 definitely needs to get pushing because he's going to be the one who's able to determine if the battle is a win or loss. Just and see, again, that would have been great if the JT or GW Tiger called his shot before he placed it. Would have made a big difference there, but it was alright because he didn't, the GWPanther didn't fire. Yeah, so now this M103 really needs to spot. That Ferdinand doesn't have much in the way of spotting because he's a very slow tank. He's going to get finished off before he can do anything. And same thing with that T-28. That M103 is going to really need to get into the grinder, run around the big rock, and try and spot whatever he can. Being out here in the open like he's doing is going to not work out too well because it's really going to be kind of slow and tedious and not a whole heck of a lot going on. And yes, as the platoon mate called out here for Tiger, there is not, it's basically everything is one-shottable at this point to artillery and enemy tanks alike. So the M103 is finally getting going. I don't know the time in the game though, sadly. I wish I had that running, but I know it's going to be pretty tight here if they want to pull off a victory. That GW Tiger is going to be pretty much stuck in his location. He's not going to get anywhere. I'm saying that Ferdinand should probably run at the cap. Oh, the M103 is actually running to the cap too. That is not what I would have done. So I would have, if it was me at this point and I controlled the whole team versus what I can do, that'd be a different story. With just the M103 on the cap, it's going to be rough. I'd send the M103 as a scout tank, trying to get behind rocks to spot some of these heavier TDs. I'd have the Ferdinand get down there behind the rocks, and same thing with that T-28 Proto. If I can get those down there on the cap, that'd be great, because it's going to be an arty showdown now. Can the artillery kill off the TDs before the other artillery kills you off cap? So right there, there's one target. Hopefully they can finish that thing off. One weak hit against him, but he is one-shottable if someone lands a shot on him. The M103 is relatively safe. Beautiful hit. So there you go. Finish off one of their TDs. Perfectly hit, but they really need to get on that cap. Otherwise, it's not going to matter, as they're all saying that they need to get on cap before time ends. So they have relatively 3 minutes. Oh, there goes the other TD, which is sad. That both of them got killed off. I don't guess I didn't really see what they were doing. This Lorraine actually was on shotgun duty. The GW finally got spotted. Of course, that was guaranteed to happen with the Lorraine here running around. Oh, man! That was one hell of a jump. He did get lucky, though, that he avoided the, what do you want to call that? Wow, that was incredible. He got lucky that he avoided the artillery blast there. He actually got a really good shotgun there. I don't know if he's going to load to be able to hit that GW Tiger at any point in time. The GW Tiger is pretty sighted in on him. He was able to get the GW, where were we? The GW Tiger, and the GW Tiger did great. And of course the GWPanther's doing fantastic too, but it looks like he's not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot in time. Oh, yep, there we go. Drew it out. Let's go ahead and take a look. He definitely got Top Gun there. Let's take a look at the screen caps that he gave us. Taking a draw is pretty rough, especially with how well he did. So taking a look here at the personal score, there's still another, what, like 2 or 3 tanks above where he scrolled at. But as you can see here, is 5 of the kills in addition to all the other hits. I would have to say he hit damn near the whole team. Maybe 1 or 2 tanks didn't get hit, but he hit pretty much everything there was to hit on the board, and that was incredible. He earned quite a bit of money. Look at that. Earned, what, 70,000 credits and 1,400 experience, and that was not doubled, or in this case it would have been quintupled for the experience, but doubled or somewhat modified by the win for credits. So that was fantastic job, and of course getting Top Gun with 6 kills in the artillery, pretty fantastic. On the other hand, though, you do see on the way, all the way to the right there, his crew is, yeah, pretty impressive. They all have 5 skills and they're working up. So he's used this tank quite a bit, and this crew is pretty good. So I'd say that he certainly knows how to use this tank very well. Needless to say, did a great job with it, despite the fact that it was a draw. And I mean, the team could have moved a little bit quicker. They could not have. It was a little rough there at the end. It's better than a loss, but it's still rough to see what you were capable of in this game and still not be able to grasp that goal when you were just right there. Sadly, if people had moved a little sooner or had stuff gotten spotted, who knows, any number of things could have changed a little bit differently, would have been a different result. So, nonetheless, great job there. That's a lot of people that he damaged. Let's go ahead and take a look at the detailed reports, the other thing he sent in here. And of course, with the detailed result, we saw 23 shots fired, which is almost everything he had. 12 direct hits, because he was fantastic with timing some of those shots. A lot of those were great timing, and a lot of really good ability to really guess out where they're going to be, knowing where he's probably going to hit around rocks and whatnot else. And of course, as it shows, he's really had time in this tank to get some of the crew stats that he has right now. So, 7,000 even well, 7,009 damage, but still, 7,000 even damage is insane, on top of getting a little bit of defense from killing that Hetzer earlier, damaging 13 enemies. So basically, only 2 enemies did not get hit by his artillery shells. That's impressive. So there you have it, with 6 kills here, a great amount of damage, 7,000, and pretty much using up all his ammunition. He did fantastic, and even had a pretty sick jump at the end. I gotta admit, that was actually pretty cool. That actually was a pretty good highlight reel. That'd end up on ESPN if this was a real, if esports were a real sport. That was pretty slick there, and to survive it too without having everything broken. But 3 people died, so minor detail there. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this debriefing here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed Tiger's performance here. You did fantastic. So if you guys want to send me a replay of your own, send it to darqueling@gmail.com, and I will analyze it and get back to you on a debriefing for it. So, thanks guys, and I'll catch you in the next debriefing.